Over 70% of self-made millionaires got started in sales. We're talking about Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Tony Robbins, Jeff Bezos, Alex Hormozi. So when I realized about this fact, to me it became really, really clear what was the path to achieve my goals. But I didn't want to do it through traditional sales. I did it with high ticket closing. I went from zero to $20,000 per month in pure profit in less than a year without having to run my full-blown online business and without any kind of prior sales experience. And in this video, I'm going to break down the first 3 essential steps that you need to have in place so that you can replicate this process and actually being able to do it faster. The first thing we need to understand is like why high ticket closing. Inside of the sales world, there are 2 big sides of it. There's the entrepreneurial side and then there's the employee side. The employee side of sales is where you don't want to be, and here's where I didn't want to be, because I knew that there was like income cap, freedom restrictions. You were valued by the hour, not really by the results. And again, I didn't have any prior experience in sales, but when I was researching about this, I was like, okay, this is not the way I want to get into. And when you further look into it and explore it, you realize here's where people get actually rich in the entrepreneurial side of sales. Because in this side, you can make good amount of money, you have time freedom, and you're compensating based on the value that you provide. And the reason for this is because here, this is not a employee-boss relationship. This is a business-to-business relationship. Here, you are a freelancer providing a service. You can even see it like as a one-client agency. You're doing sales in behalf of one company. That company is your client, really. And just with one company, you can get to 5 figures per month. That's exactly where high ticket closing and where high ticket setting are. Now, inside of the sales world, there are different industries you can be selling, you can be closing for. And I personally decided to go with the e-learning industry or the online education industry because a couple of reasons. Number one, these companies, high ticket online education, they are mega profitable. And because they're mega profitable, they're willing to pay 10% commission. So it gives you the highest leverage in terms of how much money you can make as a high ticket closer. Then is a booming market. Actually, I recorded a video, I will just link it here, where I explain how the online education industry is exploding and what's the opportunity that we have right now because there is a high demand for high ticket closers. And these are just some examples. Every single day, every single week, I see posts like this, people hiring and looking for closers or high ticket setters. But again, I will link a video here in case you want to watch that in more detail. The next thing is that is online. So you can, manage your own schedule. And the biggest thing is that even though these companies are mega profitable, they want to pay this amount of money. The reason why is because they don't want to close the deals. They don't want to be the ones on the call closing the clients. They might want to be creating the content. They might want to be working with the clients, or simply they just can't scale if they don't bring more people that can do the closing for them. So that represents a huge opportunity in this particular industry. And that's why I decided to get here. So how can you do that as well? There are 3 pillars to really being able to capitalize on this opportunity of high ticket closing. So essentially, let's look at it like this. If you don't have these 3 things, your goals, everything you want to accomplish as a beginner entrepreneur, are not going to be able to be supported, right? You need these 3 pillars that I'm going to share with you. Otherwise, this is either not going to be possible, or even if you do it, it's going to crumble. The first one is going to be very obvious. The first one is developing the skill of the one called close. Actually, it's just becoming a closer. Like if you cannot close a deal in a 45 to 60-minute meeting, then are you really a closer? You aren't, right? So that's the first thing, and it's the most important thing. Actually, I would even make this pillar the bigger pillar because like this is essential. This is the first thing you need to have. It's not the only thing you need, but this is the most important thing. Okay, so how do you become a closer? There are 3 main things that you want to start focusing on. Number 1, the right mindset. Because again, this is the entrepreneurial side, not the employee side. That's why you get all the rewards. So a closer mindset equals an entrepreneurial mindset, equals becoming a leader. What does that mean, Paulo? Well, first of all, we need to eliminate and replace limiting beliefs from the employee frame. So you need to start thinking as a leader. You need to start thinking as an entrepreneur rather than an employee. Then you need to reconcile your relationship with fear. Because as closers and entrepreneurs, we are leaders. We are leading people. We're inspiring people. So if you're not able to overcome your own fears to be able to get to your goals, how are you going to be able to help someone overcome their fears? And closers take extreme ownership, exactly like entrepreneurs. We have this motto that is like everything is our fault. Because if everything is our fault, then that means that we can control it. If everything is not our fault, is someone else's fault, then we don't have control. So that is the extreme ownership mentality. And again, like I'm just covering basic things. Okay, there's like more into it. The next thing we need the right closing skill. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you just jump straight into this and you have the word tracks and the skills and everything if you don't have the right mindset. Okay, it's very, very important. Like this thing is like this invisible ceiling that you're going to be like, oh, I know the words, I know the framework, why am I not closing? Is going to be related to this in most cases. Okay, but of course we need the skills. We need to know how to do a one call close, and these are the four most important things that every closer must know and must have dialed in. Number one, your inner state. You being able to control your emotional state, the discovery part of the conversation, like understanding how to run a discovery part properly, how to present, and how to deal with objections. Okay, if you deal with objections, because it depends on the closing style you go for. There are closing styles that are more orbitating around objection handling, and there are other styles where are more focused on objection prevention. But either or, you should know that doesn't matter the style. These are the basics. So you focus on the mindset, you focus on the skills, and then you take massive action, because with action is how you develop yourself. Okay, you start learning, you start practicing, and that's how you build the skill of one call closing. Okay, that's the basic. Now, how do I do that specifically? Because you've given me pointers, but specifically, how can I start? I'm gonna tell you exactly how in a moment. By the way, if you have questions about anything that we'll cover in this video, put them down in the comments. And if you want access to this visual, just comment the visual below, and we'll send you the diagram if you want it. Cool, let's go with the next one. The second pillar is we need to know how to find the right client. You need the skill, and then you need a client you're gonna be doing sales for. You're gonna be doing the closing for. Okay, that's how you monetize your skill. But even before landing a client, we need to understand and we need to know how to find the right client, because there's a lot of demand, but there's also a lot of trash as well. So this is like a sub skill that you need to develop if you ever want to have a chance to start monetizing this skill. This is the core skill, but without this, there's no way you're going to be able to become a closer. So finding the right client is being able to find a client where you can do the sales on their behalf and you can achieve your goals. You can support this vision of making 5 figures per month. The wrong clients are not going to be able to have that leverage, all right? Because of the ticket, because of the business stage. So you need to be able to find, identify, and vet opportunities and clients so that you know when do you have a great opportunity in front of you. There are 3 ways or 3 types of opportunities in the space. Number one, we have the public opportunities. The public opportunities are easy to find. You can just Google, just do a little bit of work, and you will be able to know where to go. The thing is that public opportunities are very crowded because they're public, are very easy to find. This is the last resource companies take when they're looking for closers. This is the last resource. Okay, so conclusion, it's okay to get started. If you don't have experience, you want to get a feel for it, it's fine, but it's very, very difficult to find great opportunities here. I'm not saying that you can't find it, but again, very crowded, easy to find, last resource. It's not going to be like the best way to go about it. The second type of opportunities are niched opportunities. You need some sort of key or compass here, either a strategy, either you're an insider in that industry because you love that industry in the first place, right? So you know some companies that are working with closers, being an insider, or you have a connection, for example. Okay, these are great opportunities because they are typically vetted by you or your source. And the reason why is because these niched ops, the first time you see them is in a niche community that you already were a part of, or in industry-specific circles that you're already a part of, or someone that you know is part of, like a WhatsApp group, a Telegram group, a Facebook group, or even a low-ticket pay community that you are a member of, okay? Here you're going to start seeing good opportunities. But the third type of opportunity where you're going to be able to find like good clients to do sales for, that they are there asking for closers, is referred opportunities. This is the golden ticket. You only get this if you are part of a leverage network. You know, your network is your net worth. Have you heard that sentence? It's true. There's low competition because here's where only the people that have access to this network, like a small group of people, they see the opportunity the first time. They know about the opportunity the first time, and they either take it or they spread the word, right? So these are great opportunities. This is where you get an edge because companies tend to look here before they go public. How can you find these opportunities? Where are these opportunities? Where you're going to be able to have access to these opportunities through recruiters, high-ticket closing recruiters, sales trainers like me, mentors, masterminds, so high-level networks, being in the right business as well. That's definitely a good strategy. I know closers right now that the way they got to closing was they found a company that was a really, really good company. And that company at that moment was hiring, but it was hiring for admin or for customer support or whatever, right? Not necessarily for sales. And they got in on that role just to be close to that company, build a relationship. And then when the company was looking for closers, they were the first ones to notice. So that's a great strategy as well. Okay. These are the best. But this is just the beginning. Okay. This is how you can get started with finding the right clients, like where to go. Okay. And what are the things you need to have in mind to be able to find these ones and to be able to identify these ones. Once you found them, then you need to vet them just to make sure that these are actually solid companies. What you want to go for when it comes to vetting the company is you want to go for either 100K per month, because 10% of that is 10K or around there. I've seen closers thrive really, really well with companies that are doing 80K per month. Okay, but close to 100K per month is a great place. They've got momentum. If it's more than that, even better. Okay, that's just sort of like general recommendation. Cool. So once you develop the sub skill of finding the right client through finding, identifying, and vetting opportunities, then we can go into the step 3. Before we go into the third pillar, if you want to skip this process and you want to learn this faster, you can apply for the RCS Academy, the Remote Closing Specialist Academy. This is where we coach you and we train you to become a remote closer from zero. We give you the skills, we teach you how to fish, and we give you fish in terms of like, we give you opportunities, we give you access to opportunities, but we also teach you how you can develop this sub skill. So if you want to know about the RCS Academy, check out the description down below and you can have more information there. If you want to just simply go faster and work with a mentor. Cool. Let's go with the third pillar. What is the third pillar? The third pillar is landing the client. And this might sound obvious, right? But you'll be surprised how many people work and invest the time and the effort to develop themselves as a remote closer. And then they don't develop this sub skill. They don't put the time and the effort to develop their own network, be in the right circles. Again, it doesn't matter if you have the skills, because if you don't have the opportunity to show that skill, there's no way you're going to be able to monetize your skill. Does that make sense? So the skill is very important, but you need to develop these 2 sub skills. Number 1 is find the right client, because you don't want to have this amazing skill and be working with the wrong client. It's not going to work. So you need to develop the eye, you need to develop the sub skill to finding the right client. But once you find the right client, the most important thing is being able and developing the skill of closing a company on you. And this is the basics of the basic of actually being a professional and an entrepreneur. And right now, the bar is very low, guys. It's very, very low. So the goal with closing a company on you is being able to create this wow effect. It's being able to create an effect where the business owner is like, this guy's better than me. Or, wow, this guy's better than other guys that I've spoken with. Boom, right? So this ties back to the skill. Don't get me wrong. It's like you have to have the skill. But you also need to have the sub skills to be able to get a chance to show the core skill. Even if you're a beginner, it's crazy how easy it is right now to learn a position. In fact, one of our students, Nastia, did it in less than 90 days without previous experience. And this is key because, like, think about it. If you don't have the ability to close the founder on you, that you are the best person to close the deals, then how are you going to be able to close their leads? So the process of you speaking with these companies and the way you show up tells them a lot about how you're going to show up for their leads. So it's connected, all right? I know it might sound like obvious, right? But you'll be surprised how many people even invest in coaches, in training, in sales trainers, in masterminds to develop this skill, and then they overlook this and they overlook this. So even if someone gives them the right opportunity, they mess it up because like they literally don't know how to sell themselves, that they just simply don't know, or they haven't put enough attention into it. That's why it's so easy right now. This is like very basic. You'll be surprised how many people just overlook this and just fail. There's a couple of things. Communicate as a professional. So stop saying bro, mate, and things like that. Just start being a professional, communicating like a professional. Look professional as well. So how are your social media? Your WhatsApp image? Do you have a description? Like, this is just basics. Be punctual. Be prepared before any meeting. Be responsive when you got their attention. Don't take forever to reply. And again, all these things are going to be thinking, wow, if this person is taking forever to reply, When someone wants to enroll in my service, well, this person is going to take a lot to reply as well. You see, this is basics, right? Show up with good sound and good presence. Don't show up in a tank top, etc. You know what I mean? It's just so basic, but common sense is not common practice. And I see that every single day. So if you just focus on these, you're definitely going to have an edge, 100%. Even if you don't have any prior sales experience. Because at the end of the day, you are leveraging your skills, not your experience. So if you develop this core skill and these sub skills, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to show, not tell. You're going to be able to show them what you're capable of. Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So with this, now you've gotten an opportunity. If you develop these two sub skills, now you've got an opportunity. But the question is, are you prepared? Do you actually have the skills to be able to show, not tell? If you're not sure about the answer, watch one of these two videos where I talk about how to master high ticket closing.